Chuck Fleischmann running for his 7th term in Congress. This is his 12th year in Washington, D.C. Fleischmann is a challenger in this cycle in Democrat Meg Gorman. I talked to Congressman Fleischmann this afternoon. We talked about many topics, including the divisions inside the Republican Party. I asked him how much space there is to disagree or question other Republican members of the House of Representatives.
In our conference, we have three groups. We have a Tuesday group that is a more moderate group, the center-right group, and then we have our friends in the Freedom Caucus who are further to the right. But all three groups come together and work together. We agree on so many of the core principles, but on occasion, when issues come up, let's face it, I've got the tough job in Tennessee. I'm an appropriator. Many times I'm the only Republican voting for appropriation bills, but I make sure I bring the resources back to the 3rd District of Tennessee.
Do you feel like you have space and room to disagree with other Republican congressmen, congresswomen? Did you feel like that there's room to push back on each other and have the hard conversations when those are needed?
Absolutely. We have open, positive discourse, even though on all issues we don't agree. I belong to the center-right coalition, conservative coalition, but in our conference we have three groups. We have a Tuesday group that is a more moderate group, the center-right group, and then we have our friends in the Freedom Caucus who are further to the right. But all three groups come together and work together. We agree on so many of the core principles, but on occasion, when issues come up, let's face it, I've got the tough job in Tennessee. I'm an appropriator. Many times I'm the only Republican voting for appropriation bills, but I make sure I bring the resources back to the 3rd District of Tennessee and across the state of Tennessee. But when other members need help, when our governor needs help, when our senators need help, they will call me and ask for my expertise on appropriations. So there's an understanding. It's almost akin, I love baseball, to being on a baseball team, okay? There's going to be pitchers and catchers and fielders and infielders and outfielders. Everyone's got a position to play, and we all know what you have to do in that position.
Right. Right. But there are, we know these instances inside the Republican Party where if something is said, Liz Cheney is one of these examples, right, that you're going to get members of Congress in your own party going to your district, campaigning against you, right? There is a line there inside the party, right, where if you go too far, you might burn those bridges that you're talking about, or even just the differences in the caucuses, right? You got the Freedom Caucus folks who are voting no, especially like a lot of those folks who are voting no on almost everything across the board, just so many no votes. How do you get those folks to meet in the middle and work on things together when clearly they're doing that for a reason?
Well, the way I look at it is every member of Congress, including myself, and I'm actually running for a 7th term right now, goes out and campaigns and represents now roughly about 750,000, maybe closer now to 780,000 constituents. As you do that as a member, you have to go out and get elected in your district. The 3rd District of Tennessee is very different from the 3rd District of Massachusetts, different from the 3rd District of Alabama. So we represent the vast majority of our constituents, or what happens? We lose. So I'm always very sensitive to the fact that if we're dealing, like we will be, with members that we're going to elect in Rhode Island and in New Hampshire, they're going to have a little bit different ethos. They're not going to be as conservative as I am. Other members might be a little bit more conservative. So there needs to be an understanding, there needs to be a tolerance, there needs to be a furtive discussion. But on the major issues, we all are united. We've got to have fiscal responsibility, you have to have strong borders, closed borders, and on the big issues, we're together.